Zara, 22, grew up fast, trading dreams for survival while caring for her sick mother in a city that forgot people like them. Sharp, loyal, and quiet with fire beneath, she never planned to get close to anyone. But Madame Gloria's deal pulled her into a mansion of secrets, and into the path of a man as guarded as she is. Then came Madame Gloria in a black Lexus, dressed in power and perfume. "You want to save your mother?" she asked. "Yes," Zara whispered. "Then work for me as a maid." "But your real job is to spy on my nephew." Zara blinked. "Why?" "Because Zuberi is hiding something. He's about to inherit billions, and I want to know everything, who he sees, who he trusts, who he loves." Zara didn't say yes because she wanted to. She said yes because poverty doesn't offer choices, only survival. Zuberi's mansion stood like a monument to silence, white marble, black glass, and no warmth. He was tall, sharp-jawed, always alone like a ghost wrapped in designer clothes. Zara watched from the shadows, texting reports to Madame Gloria. "He reads poetry alone at night? Sleeps on the couch, not his bed. Talks in his sleep. Keeps saying someone's name, Nia." She expected arrogance, darkness. But what she found was a man surrounded by wealth and drowning in loneliness. Most of the staff had been sent out that evening to manage a high-profile private event downtown, something exclusive, glamorous, and far above Zara's world. She stayed behind, alone in the echoing mansion. The halls felt heavier in their absence. Wandering toward the garden, she paused. Zuberi was there, barefoot, kneeling in the grass, feeding a skinny orange cat with his bare hands. His shirt sleeves were rolled up, hair slightly tousled. The cold, closed-off man she had been watching for weeks looked almost gentle. The cat turned and meowed at her. Zara smiled. Zuberi looked up. "It only eats from my hand." She leaned against the doorway. "Maybe it knows you're lonelier than it is." He didn't respond. But he didn't walk away either. For a while, neither of them spoke. The night was quiet, filled only with the soft hum of distant traffic and the rustling of leaves. That night, for the first time, Zara didn't text Madame Gloria. The next morning, something new waited for her. On the breakfast tray sat a clay teacup, slightly crooked, clearly handmade. No note, no explanation, but when she turned it over, she found her name, Ice Heir, carved into the base. Zara began noticing things. The locked study on the second floor was suddenly left open, books missing from the shelf. Papers on the desk shuffled, then gone. Zuberi had become quieter than usual, walking the halls late at night, phone always in hand, speaking in hushed tones to someone he never named. One morning, she heard it. Through the crack in his office door, his voice low and sharp. "No one can know yet." Not even her. Her. Zara froze. Was he talking about her? She had been so sure he didn't see her, not really. Not beyond trays and towels and brief silences in the garden. But now, doubt crawled into her bones. She started texting Madame Gloria again. "He's hiding something. He's meeting someone secretly. Found a torn letter. Can't read all of it. There's a name, Nia. It keeps coming up." Gloria's reply was instant. "Good, keep digging. And do not get attached." Zara stared at those words. Too late, she thought. That night, Zuberi passed her in the hallway. He paused, looked at her for a moment longer than usual. "I used to think silence kept me safe," he said, "but now it feels like a cage." And he walked away, leaving her with nothing but questions, and a heart she wasn't supposed to feel. Zara waited until he left the house. She'd seen the torn letter again, this time half buried under a stack of books in the study. Curiosity overpowered caution. She slipped inside and closed the door behind her. The study smelled like ink and cedarwood. Old books lined the shelves, but her eyes were on the drawer he always kept locked. Today it wasn't. Inside she found a photograph. A girl, young, beautiful, laughing with her arms around Zuberi. They looked happy, alive, like people who hadn't yet learned how to build walls. On the back of the photo, "To Zuberi, always yours, Nea." Zara's throat tightened. There she was, the name that haunted his sleep. the shadow in his silence. She returned the photo and backed away, heart racing. But when she turned, Zuberi was standing in the doorway. His eyes flicked to the open drawer, then to her. Zara opened her mouth to explain, to lie, maybe, but he didn't give her the chance. "She's dead," he said quietly. "So if you're here to report to Gloria, go ahead. Tell her I love someone I couldn't save." His voice didn't tremble, but his hands did. "I'm not here for her anymore," Zara whispered. Their eyes met, not as maid and master, not spy and target, but as two broken people caught in a truth too big to carry alone. Outside, thunder rolled across the city. Inside, something fragile had finally cracked open. The rain didn't stop all night. Thunder echoed across the city like distant warning shots. Zara lay awake in her small room downstairs, staring at the clay teacup on her shelf. Her name. His hands, that moment. She hadn't seen Zuberi since the study. Not at breakfast, not in the hallways. He was retreating again, back into silence, back into shadows. By midnight, the storm had grown violent. Wind rattled the windows. The power flickered and died, leaving the house in near total darkness. That's when she heard it, a crash from the upper floor. Zara grabbed a flashlight and ran upstairs. The corridor was soaked with moonlight and fear. She found Zuberi in his bedroom, standing in the middle of shattered glass. The mirror had cracked. No, he had cracked it. His knuckles were bleeding. "I told myself I'd never feel again," he said without turning. "Because every time I do, I lose something." Zara stepped inside, quiet, careful. "You haven't lost me." He turned, finally meeting her eyes. "Not yet," he whispered. Outside, the storm roared louder, but inside, for the first time, they stood in the wreckage of truth, together. The next morning, the storm was gone. But inside the mansion, something had shifted. Zuberi was no longer avoiding her. At breakfast, he sat across from Zara for the first time. Neither of them spoke much, but his eyes lingered longer. The silence between them had changed. It wasn't cold anymore. After breakfast, he stood up and surprised her. "Come with me?" Zara followed him through a side hallway she hadn't seen before, past a blank wall, through a narrow steel door. He typed in a code. It clicked open. Inside was a dark room filled with glowing screens. Zara's breath caught. Cameras everywhere, the garden, the hallways, even the room where she slept. "You were never the only one watching," Zuberi said, without looking at her. She turned toward him, her voice low and stunned. "You knew about Gloria?" He nodded. "Of course I did. She's been after my inheritance for years." Zara's pulse quickened. "So why let me stay?" He finally looked at her, and this time there was no coldness in his gaze. "Because I needed to know if you were like her or different." She swallowed hard. "And now?" Zuberi stepped closer, just close enough. "Now I'm the one who can't stop watching you." Her heart thundered in her chest. But behind the heat in the room, something darker still flickered on one of the monitors. Someone else had accessed the cameras recently. And not just Gloria. Zara didn't sleep that night. Not after what she saw on the monitor, a hidden user accessing the mansion's cameras. It wasn't Gloria. This was someone else, someone silent. She told Zuberi the next morning. His jaw tightened. "Only 4 people know about this surveillance room. Me, Gloria, my lawyer. And someone I haven't seen in years?" "Who?" she asked. "My brother," Zara blinked. "You have a brother?" "Had?" Zuberi said, voice hardening. "We don't speak. He disappeared after our father's death. Took his share and vanished." Zara studied him. "And now he's watching you?" "Or watching you," Zuberi replied. The air between them shifted. He stepped closer. "I don't know who to trust anymore, but I trust what I see. And I've seen you, not the way Gloria sees you, the real you." Zara's breath caught. Her heart was pounding, for all the wrong reasons. She wanted to speak, to confess everything, to say I never meant to lie to you. But the words burned on her tongue, unfinished. "I don't know who to trust anymore, but I trust what I see. And I've seen you, not the way Gloria sees you, the real you." Zara's breath caught. Her heart was pounding for all the wrong reasons. She wanted to speak, to confess everything, to say I never meant to lie to you. But the words burned on her tongue, unfinished. Zara followed Zuberi through the emergency staircase, her hand still in his. The lights were out, the cameras were down. The silence had teeth. Down in the basement, he unlocked a steel door she hadn't noticed before. Inside, backup generators, emergency supplies. And weapons. Zara stared at the shelf of sleek handguns, blinking. "You were expecting war?" she asked, half joking. "I was raised in one," he said simply. That's when they heard it, a footstep. Above them. Zuberi moved fast, killed the flashlight, signaled her to stay behind. His expression changed, no longer the cold air or the grieving man, but someone who'd been hunted before. They waited, then a creak, floorboards shifting. Zara's throat dried. "It could be Gloria," she whispered. He shook his head. "She doesn't break in. She buys her way in." Another sound, closer this time. Zuberi's voice dropped, barely a breath. "Go back upstairs. Lock your door. Don't open it unless I knock 3 times." Zara hesitated. "And if it's not you?" He looked at her. "Then you run." Upstairs, she obeyed. She locked the door, waited. Seconds felt like hours. Then a knock, 1, 2, 3. She reached for the handle, but before she could turn it, a 4th knock. Zara didn't move. She stared at the door. 3 knocks, then 1 more. Too many. She stepped back, heart thudding. Her phone had no signal. The power was still out. The silence outside the door now felt heavy, intentional. Another knock. This time softer, slower, mocking. Zara pressed her back to the wall, eyes on the handle. Then a voice. Not Zuberi's. Just one word, whispered low through the crack in the door. "Laya?" She stopped breathing. Footsteps retreated. And then nothing. A full minute passed before she unlocked the door and ran. Down the dark hall, past the cold stairwell, into the shadows of the surveillance room. He wasn't there. But she found him in his bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, shirt off, bandaging his hand. Blood streaked across his chest, down his arm. He looked up when she burst in, eyes wide. "You're bleeding," she gasped. "I'm fine." "You're not," she snapped, kneeling beside him, grabbing the bandage from his fingers. "You told me 3 knocks. They knocked 4. You said to run, so I ran to you." Her hands were on him now, wrapping the cloth around his palm, then slowing as her fingers brushed his. Zuberi didn't pull away. He looked at her, really looked. "This was never supposed to happen," he said quietly. "You were a threat, a tool, a liability." Zara's voice was barely a whisper. "And now?" He leaned in, not fast, not like a man chasing something, but slow, like someone surrendering. Their lips met, heat in the middle of chaos, not perfect, not safe, but real. And when they pulled apart, breathless and still too close, he said the one thing she wasn't ready for. "If they're coming for me, they'll use you to do it." Zara woke in his bed. Zuberi was gone. She got up and followed the quiet. Voices drifted from the surveillance room, low, sharp, and then a voice crackled from a speaker. "Gloria. You think she loves you, Zuberi? You're more blind than I thought?" Zara pushed the door open. Zuberi stood in front of the monitor, frozen. On the screen, her, Zara, in Gloria's office, weeks ago, saying, "I'll do whatever it takes. I just need the money from my mother." Zara's stomach dropped. The room was silent. Zuberi didn't look at her, didn't speak. His jaw clenched, eyes locked on the footage as it looped again. And again. Zara stepped forward. "That was before I knew you. Before anything meant anything. You lied. I changed." Finally he looked at her. His eyes weren't cold. They were worse. Empty. "I let you into my house, into my life. I didn't come to destroy it," she said softly. He didn't answer. The monitor flickered again. But this time, it wasn't old footage. It was live. A man in a black coat stepped into the frame outside the mansion gate, hood up, face down. Zuberi's voice dropped. He's here. Zuberi stood in the front hall, watching the security feed on his tablet. Zara stood beside him, tense. The man outside hadn't moved. Zuberi unlocked the gate remotely. "Wait, what are you doing?" Zara asked. "I know who it is," he said. "But I need to see how much of him is left." The front doors creaked open. The man stepped inside slowly, removing his hood. He looked just like Zuberi, but harder. Leaner, eyes sharp as razors. "Hello, little brother," he said. Zara's heart stopped. This was the brother, the ghost. The one who vanished. Zuberi didn't flinch. "You're trespassing." The brother smirked. "It's my house, too. Or did you forget that when you started playing king?" Zara stepped forward, cautiously. "Why are you here?" He looked at her and smiled, but it wasn't warmth. It was recognition. You're the maid. The spy, the girl who thinks she's fallen for the Ice Heir?" Zuberi moved fast, shoving his brother back, voice low and lethal. "Don't talk to her." His brother laughed. "You're still so easy to provoke, just like father." The word father hit the air like a gunshot. Silence followed. Zara didn't know what scared her more, the brother's calm or Zuberi's lack of it. Then the brother's voice dropped. "I didn't come for you. I came for what's mine." "What is that?" Zuberi asked. The brother smiled. "Everything." His brother's words hung in the air like smoke. "I came for what's mine." The brother walked further inside, eyes scanning the marble, the gold frames, the silent elegance. "You've been living in my half," he said smoothly. "Our father's will wasn't as one-sided as you made it sound." Zuberi's voice turned dark. "He didn't trust you. No one did." "And yet," his brother said, pulling something from his coat pocket, a flash drive, silver and simple. "I have something you don't." The brother's smile grew cruel. "That drive has father's real will, the one you never found. Want to see what he truly left behind?" Zara's hands curled into fists. "Why now? Why return after all these years?" The brother's gaze landed on her, and for a second it burned. "Because the heir finally has something to lose." Zuberi stepped forward. "Don't touch her." The brother laughed. "Oh, little brother, you already did. And she was working for Gloria, remember?" He knew. "I know who she was," he said. "Now I know who she is." The brother's smirk faded, just a little. Then he said softly, "Hope she knows who you are, too. Because soon the whole world will." And with that he turned and walked out, not defeated, just patient. Like someone who had already set the fire and was waiting for it to burn. The drive sat in the middle of the table like a loaded gun. Zuberi hadn't touched it. He just stared, as if the silver device could burn through the marble. Zara stood nearby, silent, knowing what was really inside wasn't data, it was everything. Zuberi's legacy, his power, his father's true last words. And maybe his ruin? Zara reached out. "Don't," he said sharply. She paused, hand hovering. "You don't trust me," she said quietly. Zuberi looked up. "I don't trust anyone right now. But especially not the person who walked in here lying." Her chest tightened. "I didn't lie about this," she said, nodding to the drive. "But if I can help you—" "I don't need help," he snapped. "Yes, you do," she said, voice rising. "You're too proud to admit you're standing on a trapdoor?" He laughed bitterly. "And you're too soft to admit you're part of it." The room went still. Zara stepped closer, then opened it. "Let's see what your brother's hiding. If it destroys you, let it destroy me too." Zuberi's eyes narrowed. "Why?" "Because I'm done spying. I'm done running, and if you don't trust me, I'm leaving tonight." Silence. Zara's heart was racing. "Then pull me close or cut me off. But choose." Zuberi looked at her for a long, breathless moment. Then he picked up the drive, slid it into the laptop, and said, "Then let's burn the truth together." The laptop screen flickered, then it opened. Zara and Zuberi stood side by side in the surveillance room, lit only by that glowing screen. Folder after folder spilled open, audio files. Legal documents, secret recordings, and one final video. Their father's last confession. He appeared on screen, older, voice tired, eyes sunken with secrets. If this is being watched, then one of my sons has betrayed me. The father continued. The real heir is not the one who plays king, it's the one who protects the crown. I leave it all to the son who chooses peace. Zuberi stared. Zara placed her hand gently on his. And to the girl who loved him despite his silence, the father added. Zara gasped. Her name was mentioned, recorded, sealed into a will made long before she even knew Zuberi. She turned to him. But before he could speak, an explosion rocked the mansion. The screen cut out, sirens wailed. Smoke curled from the east wing. Zuberi pulled Zara close. It's him. He's burning it down. They ran, through fire, through halls collapsing in on memories. In the garden they found him, the brother, smiling as flames reflected in his eyes. You were always too late, he said. Zuberi didn't answer. He charged, fists, fury, history unleashed. Zara screamed. The two brothers crashed into the fountain, water and fire colliding. When it was over, Zuberi stood, soaked and bloodied, gasping. His brother didn't rise. 1 week later, the mansion was gone, but a new house was being built, not from marble, but truth. Zara sat on the balcony of a quiet villa, sipping tea from the clay cup Zuberi once made her. He stepped beside her, dropped a kiss on her shoulder. No thrones, no crowns, no cameras. Just them,